1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and hello fellows, Herogon here. Today is Tuesday, October 17th of 2023, is now 7:12 p.m. Eastern Time here, and this week it's been pretty okay, uneventful, mostly uneventful over the past few days. But of course, in 4 days' time, I'll be going to something quite interesting. At the moment, I won't reveal it just yet. I'd prefer to talk about it after I go to that certain exciting thing. Anyways, this week from Sean the Bro's tutorials involves wall jumps. Now, for certain games, there can be certain characters that have wall jumps. I myself have found out, thanks to YouTube, that the Hulk in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite can, in fact, do wall jumps. So if you look from Sean's video here involving the wall jumping, he goes over implementing such mechanic, adding custom forces when jumping off of said walls, in determining proper conditions to perform such wall jumps. So if you can see there, they just performed a wall jump. Granted, it might be a little hard to see since, well, you know how they are. You know how it is with my own practice mode. So going into the code parts, there's a new boolean and a new state added, particularly a wall jumping state for the character state. It's the same typical stuff. VE stands for validated enum, which I used for my own purposes. Wall jumping, then the UMeta display name to show us what sort of character state it is. And then, of course, going into downwards, we have a new boolean for movement. Is touching wall, which essentially is checking if our character is touching a wall, be it a camera edge or a stage boundary itself. Then in the code, in the .cpp file, which is different from the header, I always make sure I try my best to make sure and let you know the differences. The H file is header file, and the .cpp is the C++ functions themselves. So our is touching wall boolean is false. Then we can go downward. Our particular spots are within move right and move right controller, where after a whole lot of jargon involving the crouching state, we check if we are neutral jumping or forward or backward jumping. And if our value is greater than 0.01f and is facing right and is touching the wall, our character state is set to wall jumping, and we custom launch the character based on both jump distance and jump height times 0.5f. And of course, the overrides are true. And then otherwise, if we are moving to the left, where our value would be greater than negative 0. Which would be less than negative 0.01f actually, and we are not facing right, and we are touching the wall, we do the same thing, but instead we do jump distance negative. And of course our jump height's still the same, and all the other stuff is still the same. Then going downward, we also have the same stuff in move right controller, but the difference here is the dead zone amount, whereas now instead 0.20f. And same goes for the else if a value less than negative 0. point something value, it's now negative 0.20f. It's still the same stuff as move right, but with move right controller, we just have different dead zone values. Instead of 0.01 or negative 0.01, we now have 0.2 and negative 0.2. Easy enough. Of course, checking through, I believe that is all for the... Actually, there's one spot that I would like to check landed. So, or that is good, actually. Actually, there is the wall jumping parts. The character state of wall jumping is called in a few spots where we'd like to do such. Now, in landed, we of course add it to our if character state equals neutral jumping, or forward jumping, or backward jumping. We also add or character state equals e character state VE wall jumping. Easy enough. Then in our move right, we have one spot right here where instead of and combo state is equal to e combo state launched, we just have the and character state does not equal e character state VE wall jump. The reason why we don't need the combo state of launched part here anymore is because we're already checking for our combo state equal to E none. So that is useful. And of course the same goes for move right controller. I have that added in there for good measures. Move right and move right controller are the same thing aside from the dead zones, like usual. And with that, going into the source, the visual blueprint stuff, we have ourselves a few new anim blueprints stuff. Now, with this, we've got a new state called wall jump, and the only way we can get to that state is if our state is equal to VE wall jumping. And we go from this from either from the directional jumping. Goes right into wall jump. We have wall jump flip, which is just simply a duplicate of one of my other animations from Mixamo in there. And then of course wall jump can go back to end jump with this end jump transition rule here, which is the same as I've got for most of the stuff here, with right here directional jumping to end jump. Same goes for wall jump to end jump. Automatic rule based like always. And of course the end jump transition event is around in the event graph right here. It sets our can move to true and our attack state to none for good measure. And in our base character BP, there's one last part. This event actor begin overlap. We cast this to the camera edge and set to our is touching wall boolean to true. And when we end that overlap, we set is touching wall back to false. Pretty easy enough in my own terms, but probably hard for almost anyone else. As I was saying, it's all part of the process. What might be easy for me might not be easy for you. But I believe that anyone can give it a shot. As much as there is, let's go into things. I get a little unscripted on stuff, so excuse me for any sort of rambling or hypocritical stuff I might do. it does get tough for some form of guy just following the tutorials. I mean, you know what? We can scratch the whole I believe it, anyone can do it thing. There's a little more to it than that. While not everyone can become the greatest of this, a great person that can program this, or a great coder, can come from just about anywhere. I know it sounds like I'm riffing off of Ratatouille, and in truth, I pretty much am. And as you can see from the game footage right now, our characters are doing their wall jumps. If I press here, and then press the forward, we of course launch ourselves forward. Now, watch right here again. And then boom. They have their typical animation here of a wall jumping. And that is pretty much where things are going to be for now. Anyways, credit goes to Sean the Bro for all of his content. It has been pretty great. I look forward to each and every one of his tutorials, even if they are small on some days. With all of that being said, I've been Herogon, you've been you. Thanks for tuning in. And for now, I will see you all real soon. Goodbye, everyone.